Okay, everybody, today we're going to talk about multiplying and dividing with variables. And just to review really quickly, what is a variable? So a variable is a letter that is replacing a number in a problem. So, and the reason they call it a variable is that, for example, if we use the letter x, x could be it could equal or have the value of anything depending on the problem. Like in some problems, x might equal 5, and then in another problem it might equal 7. So variable meaning that it's changing. A number is constant. So for example, the number 3 is always going to be equal to 3, but in some cases, just like we talked about, x could equal 7, or in other cases, x could equal 5. So a 3 is a constant, and because it's a number. So any number is a constant, and a variable is a letter within a equation or an expression, and a variable is something that the value could change depending on the problem. Okay, so let's dive into multiplying and dividing with variables. So when you're multiplying a number, the variable is right next to the number. And the reason that happens, and the reason that that is how it's written and the structure of it, is because if we think about the multiplication sign, your typical multiplication sign is an X, right? So if I had 3 times 4, right? 3 times 4 is 12, right? However, if I am using x as my variable, if I was going to do 3 times x, that just looks really confusing, right? So the x is going to be gone, meaning that if you see a variable next to a number, that's going to mean multiplication. So if we look at this first problem here, 7d equals 42. So you're thinking 7 times what would equal 42? So if we think back to our facts, 7 times 6 would equal 42. So d equals 6. For this next one, 5k equals 35. So again, we're going to think what times 5 equals 35, and 7 times 5 is 35, so k equals 7. All right, let's try a couple more. So 5y equals 25. 5 times what would be 25? 5 times 5, so y equals 5. 8u equals 32. U in this case is going to be 4, because 8 times 4 is 32. 9k equals 45. So 9 times what equals 45? 9 times 5, so k equals 5. 6 times p equals 45 or 54. 6 times 9 equals 54. So p equals 54. Okay, now with division, when you're dividing with a variable, you might see a division sign, you might see a slash, or you might see a number written as a fraction. So any one of these scenarios that we have here, so whether it's a slash, a division sign, or a fraction, all of these are going to mean dividing. So in this case up here, we have 8 divided by r equals 2. Okay, so you can also think 2 times what equals 8. So you can think fact families here. So 2 times what equals 8? 2 times 4 equals 8. This next one is a little tricky. If you remember back to subtraction, sometimes when that first number was listed, it was a little bit tricky. You had to think about it a little bit differently. Again, if you use those fact families, it's really helpful. So if we had, z divided by 8 equals 4. I'm going to erase this problem above it so we're not in the way here. So z divided by 8 equals 4. Z divided by 4 equals 8. So now if we think about multiplication, 8 times 4 equals z. 4 times 8 equals z. So with this fact family, 4 times 8 is 32. Okay, so the fact families really help me out with trying to think about what my variables equal. Okay, next one. 12 divided by what would be 3? So I can also think 3 times what equals 12? 3 times 4 equals 12. So that's another way to think about it. You could think about it as a fact family. You could think 12 divided by 3 equals what, or equals W. And then in that case, you would have 4 as well. All right, so next, this one, we've got a couple of extra practice problems here. 9 divided by F equals 3. So again, fact family, we could do 9 divided by 3 equals, and F equals 3. 28 divided by X equals 4. 28 divided by 4 equals 7. So X equals 7. 36 divided by Y equals, so 36 divided by 6 equals, so Y is going to equal 6. M divided by 5 equals 7. So this is another one of those tricky ones. So if we think about our fact family, so M divided by 5 equals 7. M divided by 7 equals 5. And then 7 times 5 equals M. So this is going to be the one that's the most helpful for us. So if we have that fact in our head, 7 times 5 is 35. Okay, that's all I have for you. Thanks for listening. Bye.